So welcome to Market Dive. And you know the drill. You bring the source material, and we'll take a deep dive into it with you to pull out the key takeaways.
Exactly. No need to get bogged down in all the details. We'll help you efficiently understand this topic.
Perfect. And today we're tackling Mel Abraham's Building Your Money Machine, which is like a pretty room-depth guide to achieving financial freedom. Right.
Absolutely. It's a fantastic guide to financial freedom, but it's also so much more. Abraham goes beyond just accumulating wealth. He emphasizes creating a fulfilling life, a balanced life, one with work-life harmony, but also financial literacy. And he really emphasizes focusing on leaving a legacy, not just, a big bank account.
Oh, I love that. Yeah. And this deep dive is specifically for you, the listener, a professional who's ready to build their own money machine. So let's jump right in. Chapter 1, The Journey of Financial Liberation. It all starts with Abraham's personal story. He was a successful professional, working those long hours in that classic high-rise office, but feeling trapped.
Yeah, and it's a story that many professionals can relate to, that feeling of being stuck on a predetermined path, just trading time for money, but not really feeling in control of their life. Abraham's story really highlights how that lack of control can impact everything, from your mental health to even your relationships.
Yeah, absolutely. He throws out some pretty startling statistics in this chapter. Did you know that 66% of people report that their biggest source of stress is their finances?
Wow.
And a whopping 35% of people are dealing with serious stress because of financial uncertainty.
It's not surprising when you think about it. Financial worries can really impact every area of your life, right? It influences your career choices or relationships, even just your general well-being. It's like this constant weight that prevents you from really thriving.
Oh, absolutely. And I think a lot of people have this misconception that financial freedom is only for, the elite. But Abraham, he just busts that myth wide open, right? He points to research showing 79% of billionaires didn't inherit their wealth, and 80% come from, middle or lower income families.
Exactly. Anyone can achieve financial independence. Doesn't matter your background. It's not about luck. It's not about privilege. It's about informed choices. Building a system that works for you, kind of like a well-oiled money machine, as he puts it.
Okay, I love that money machine concept. It seems to be a recurring theme throughout the book. This idea of creating a system, right? An automated system, I guess, that generates income without needing to constantly trade your time for money.
Which brings us to chapter 2, Overcoming Excuses to Unlock Wealth Creation. Abraham really starts this one off with a bold statement, and I'm quoting here, "No one actually has money problems, only money-so-toms."
Okay, that's intriguing. What does he mean by that?
He's saying that all those surface level struggles, debt, low income, unexpected expenses, those are just symptoms of something deep. The real problem lies in our money behaviors, our beliefs about wealth, and the excuses we make that prevent us from making progress.
Oh, it's so true. We all have those money stories we tell ourselves, right? Oh, I'll invest when I have more money, or I'm just bad with numbers, or investing's too risky. What excuses does Abraham specifically call out in the book?
Well, one big one is the "I have plenty of time" excuse, which we hear a lot from, younger professional, but later in life it becomes, "It's too late for me now." But the truth is, time is the most valuable asset when you're trying to build wealth. And starting early, even if it's with small amounts, is really key. For example, he says if you were to invest just $200 a month, starting at age 25, you could have over $1 million by the time you retire.
Wow.
But if you wait till 45, you'd have to invest $1,000 each month to reach that same target.
That's mind-blowing. It's incredible how consistent investing, even small amounts, can snowball over time. What other excuses does he tackle in the book?
Another common one is, "I need to make more money before I can start investing." But Abraham argues that wealth, it's not just about a high salary. It's about smart financial behaviors no matter how much you earn. You can earn a lot and still be broke if you're not managing it well, right?
Right. It's about those conscious choices, building those good habits, and sticking to a plan, even when your income might be modest.
Absolutely. Now, chapter 3 gets into, the emotional side of money. It's titled Conquering Your Financial Fears.
Ooh, this is a big one. Yeah, fear definitely plays a huge role in the decisions we make about our finances.
It's massive. And Abraham really nails it when he says, and I quote, "Fear is the #1 reason people stay stuck financially."
Yeah. So what are the specific fears that he addresses?
He breaks it down into 3 core fears: the fear of losing money, the fear of uncertainty, and the fear of not knowing enough.
Okay, let's take those one by one. Fear of losing money. I think that's something we all share. We work so hard for our money, it's terrifying to even think about losing it.
It is, and because of this fear, people end up hoarding cash or they avoid investments entirely. But, Abraham says that doing nothing, well, that is actually the biggest risk because inflation erodes the value of money over time. So playing it too safe can actually be more damaging than taking calculated risks.
That's a good point. Yeah, it's about finding that balance between being cautious, but also being smart about the risks we take. Now, what about the fear of uncertainty? I mean, the economy's been all over the place lately. It's hard to predict, what's next.
Right. Absolutely. And this uncertainty, well, it paralyzes people. It makes them hesitant to invest or make those big financial decisions. But Abraham points out that uncertainty, well, it's just a part of life. It's unavoidable. So the key is to prepare for it, right? And you prepare by building that solid financial foundation. You diversify your income stream, and you understand that ups and downs are just a normal part of the process.
So instead of panicking, we need to have a plan to kind of to ride out those market fluctuations, right?
Exactly. Now, the fear of not knowing enough, I think this keeps a lot of people from even getting started. Because, financial jargon can be pretty intimidating, and a lot of people just don't even know where to begin.
Yeah. So what's the answer there?
Well, Abraham argues that financial literacy, well, it's a skill, not a talent, and anyone can learn it. Start with simple investments like index funds or retirement accounts, and really just embrace the idea of lifelong learning. There are so many resources out there, right? Books, podcasts, or even just taking small steps to educate yourself.
Absolutely. It's about empowering yourself with that knowledge so you can make those financial decisions with confidence, not fear.
Now, Chapter 4 tackles a really common misconception about wealth, and it's titled, Affluence Isn't Opulence, It's Much More.
Ooh, I love that title. Yeah, it's so easy to think of affluence as, just those flashy cars, designer clothes, and extravagant vacations, right? What's the distinction he's making here?
He argues that true affluence isn't about appearances. It's not about looking wealthy. It's about being financially secure, feeling fulfilled, and having control of your time, your choices. He contrasts affluence with opulence, where opulence is that superficial display of wealth, while affluence is, well, it's that solid financial foundation and having the freedom to actually live a life that's aligned with your values.
So it's about having the resources to really support the life you want instead of being weighed down by a lifestyle you can't afford.
Exactly. He even talks about this concept of lifestyle inflation. It's something that so many people fall into. As their income grows, well, their spending grows right alongside it. And they just end up with bigger expenses, not greater security.
Yeah, it's like that saying, more money, more problems, right? But really, it's often more money, more expenses.
And he makes a really good point that the true measure of affluence is control over your time. He even asks this question, would you rather have a high salary but no free time, or financial security with control over your schedule?
Ooh, that's a tough one. I mean, that high salary definitely sounds tempting. But, deep down, I think most of us just crave control over our time. The freedom to choose how we spend our days, that's priceless.
And that leads us to Chapter 5, which is all about gaining financial control with clarity.
So I'm sensing a theme here. Clarity seems central to Abraham's whole philosophy. So how do we actually go about achieving that clarity?
He gives us 3 key pillars. Know your numbers, define your financial destination, and create a roadmap.
Okay, let's break those down. Know your numbers. What does that mean?
It's about understanding your current financial situation, and a lot of people don't really track their expenses. They don't know where their money goes each month. So he recommends tracking 4 key numbers: your income, your expenses, your savings and investments, and your debt.
Okay, so basically just budgeting, but with a real focus on understanding where every dollar is going, right?
Exactly.
What about defining your financial destination?
Okay, so this is where we get specific about what our financial future looks like. Saying, I want to be rich or I want to retire early, that's not enough. We need a concrete, a measurable goal.
So we need to figure out, okay, how much money do I actually need to live the life that I want?
Exactly. And he calls this calculating your freedom number. This is the exact amount of monthly passive income you need to live your ideal life.
Okay. That makes sense. Shifting from that, like, hazy, I want more money, to a specific plan for how much you need to achieve that financial freedom, right?
Yeah.
So once you have that freedom number, what's next?
Then we build that roadmap. We need a plan to get us to our destination. And Abraham suggests identifying different income streams, investment strategies that will help you, get there.
So it's about connecting those dots, you know, knowing where you are, where you want to be, and then how to get there. So what happens when we skip that clarity step?
That's when people run into trouble. They end up living paycheck to paycheck, overspending, they fail to save or invest regularly. He compares it to a pilot taking off without a flight plan.
Oh, that's a great analogy.
Yeah, why would you try to reach financial freedom without a roadmap?
Right, you need a plan. So for someone who hasn't done this yet, what's his advice for getting started?
He has a 5-step financial clarity formula that I think would be helpful for our listeners.
Okay, let's hear it. What's the first step?
Create a financial inventory. So write down all your income sources, your monthly expenses, your assets like your cash, investments, real estate, and then your liabilities, any loans, credit card debt, and so on.
Okay, so full financial snapshot, warts and all. What's next?
Figure out your freedom number. So how much passive income do you need to cover your dream lifestyle? Essentially, the amount you need to replace your active income and become financially free.
So not just bills, but everything you want to do. Travel, hobbies. Got it. What's next?
Build your income plan. How are we going to hit that freedom number? And he recommends finding like 3 to 5 income sources that you can develop and focusing on those that generate passive income. So things like investments, real estate, or building a business.
Right, those multiple streams of income to create that cushion. Okay, step 4.
Eliminate those money leaks. So those subscriptions you don't use, impulse buys, maybe too much dying out. He actually challenges you to cancel 3 unnecessary expenses today and redirect that money to savings or investments.
Ooh, tough, but probably good advice. We probably all have those expenses we don't even think about. Okay, final step.
Automate your financial system. Set up automatic transfers for investing, saving, and debt repayment.
So remove that temptation to spend. Get the money to those goals first. Love it. Automation is key for effortless wealth over time.
Absolutely. And now chapter 6, define your future first, takes things a step further.
Okay, this is where it gets interesting.
Yeah, most of us just sort of drift through life on autopilot, right? We follow the path that society or family lays out for us. And go to school, get a job, work for decades, hope to retire someday.
Yeah, it is kind of scary how often we end up with a life we didn't, actually choose, just sort of fell into it. How do we break free from that?
Abraham challenges us to design our ideal lifestyle vision. Instead of just focusing with how much money we want, he asks, what kind of lifestyle do I actually want? Where do I want to live? How do I want to spend my time? Who do I want to be around?
Right, getting clear on your values and what truly matters to you. So instead of just chasing that bigger paycheck, we figure out, okay, what's that money going to buy for us? Experiences, freedom, time with loved ones. What's the next step once we have that vision?
Then we calculate that freedom number. Remember, it's not just how much passive income you need to cover your life, but also how much wealth you need to generate that passive income.
So understanding the investments, the assets, those income streams that will get you there. It's not just having the money, it's having money that works for you, right?
Exactly. And once you have that clear vision and that freedom number, well, then you can reverse engineer your path to wealth. Abraham really encourages us to think about, okay, which investments will generate this freedom number? How much do I need to invest each year to reach these goals? And what kind of income sources can I create to speed up this wealth building process?
I love how he takes those abstract ideas and breaks them down into those manageable steps. Now, Chapter 7 is where we face reality, right? It's called Gauging Your Money Situation Today. And this is about taking an honest look at where you stand financially.
Time to face the music.
Exactly.
Abraham says you can't fix what you don't measure. Ignoring reality only creates bigger problems.
Oh, I think a lot of us are guilty of burying our heads in the sand when it comes to our finances. It can be a little scary to confront those numbers, especially if they're not where you want them to be.
It's easier to ignore it, but awareness is really the first step to making those positive changes. And, he points out that people often have a distorted view of their financial health. They think they're doing okay because they pay their bills, they have a job, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they're building wealth or on track for a secure future.
Right. It's easy to get complacent when there's no crisis, but those little choices we make every day are shaping our long-term financial future. So what are some of the key metrics he suggests tracking?
He focuses on 4: your net worth, cash flow, savings rate, and debt-to-income ratio. He says that net worth is the ultimate wealth scorecard. It's not just about how much you earn, it's about what you own versus what you owe.
So it's building that strong foundation of assets that's going to generate wealth, right? What about cash flow? I always feel like I should be saving more, but there's never enough left at the end of the month.
He describes cash flow as the lifeblood of financial freedom. So it's basically your income minus your expenses. It tells you if you're living within your means, if you're building wealth, or if you're bleeding money each month. And as for your savings rate, Abraham emphasizes that having a high savings rate is one of the most important things when you're trying to achieve financial freedom. He recommends saving at least 20 to 30% of your income. He actually points out that wealthy individuals often save 50% or more.
50%, that's ambitious.
It is ambitious, but it makes sense when you think about how much faster you'll be able to reach your goals. Now, the debt-to-income ratio, this measures how much of your income is going towards debt payments. A healthy ratio is less than 20%. Anything above 35% can be a little risky.
Yeah, it's so easy to fall into that debt trap, especially with, credit cards and all those buy now, pay later things. It's scary how fast those payments add up.
Absolutely. And that's why he encourages people to really understand their debt and make a plan to pay it down aggressively if it's too high.
Right, take control of it. Okay, so we've laid out all these numbers. What do we do next?
He calls it the reality check exercise, where you actually write down your numbers for each of those metrics.
Time you chase the truth, even if it's not pretty. So what if those numbers aren't where they need to be?
It's never too late to turn things around. He gives specific advice for different scenarios. So if your net worth is negative, focus on paying down debt and increasing your assets. If your cash flow is negative, cut those expenses and maybe boost your income.
Yeah, so it's about taking those steps to build that solid foundation.
Exactly. And now that leads us to Chapter 8, the Affluence Cash Flow Matrix.
Oh, that sounds catchy. I'm intrigued.
This chapter really dives into cash flow, how important it is. You don't build wealth just by making money. You build wealth by keeping and growing it.
Right, it's not just about what comes in, it's what stays in.
Exactly. And he introduces something called a affluence cash flow matrix. It categorizes people based on their income and spending habits.
Okay, tell me more about those categories.
So we have 4: broke and struggling, high income but trapped, frugal saver, and affluent and free.
Oh, I think I can guess which one I am, so break it down for me.
Broken struggling is pretty self-explanatory, low income, high spending, living paycheck to paycheck. Now, high income but trapped is interesting because it highlights that even people with high incomes can be financially insecure, especially if they just spend everything they earn.
The classic golden handcuffs scenario. You make a good living, but you're crapped by that lifestyle.
Exactly. Now, there's frugal saver. They might not have the high income, but they're disciplined about saving. But they might need to learn some more wealth-building strategies.
So they've got the spending part down, but need to level up their investing.
Right. And finally, affluent and free. They've mastered that cash flow management and are using their money to create that financial freedom.
The goal.
And to move towards that affluent and free category, Abraham gives this really straightforward cash flow allocation plan. He says, allocate 50% of your income towards needs, 30% to investments and savings, and then 20% to your wants.
Okay, finding that balance, covering those essentials, saving for the future, and still enjoying life. I like that.
He also explains 3 levels of cash flow mastery. Level 1 focuses on your personal cash flow. So think about that 50-30-20 plan we just talked about.
So getting a handle on your day-to-day money. What about the other levels?
Level 2, you're building your passive income cash flow. It's about those income streams that don't require you to actively work, investments, real estate, maybe building a business that generates income even when you're not working on it.
Right, that financial freedom where your money works for you.
And level 3 is automating and scaling your cash flow, so taking those passive income streams to the next level. Creating systems that make them more efficient and help them to grow automatically.
Powerful. Give me some examples.
Like automatic investments, so a portion of your income consistently goes towards investing, or reinvesting your profits to speed up that compounding effect.
So you create this self-sustaining system where your wealth is growing even when you're not actively managing it. I'm starting to see how all these pieces fit together. Now, Chapter 9, the financial freedom journey, it seems to take a step back and look at the bigger picture.
Exactly. Abraham reminds us that, becoming financially free, it's not a one-time event. It's a journey. It's built on those, those intentional decisions, the habits you form, and the strategies that you implement.
It's a marathon, not a sprint.
Absolutely. He outlines 5 phases of this journey, and it starts with, financial instability, which is unfortunately where most people find themselves.
Yeah, that's living paycheck to paycheck, struggling to keep up, that constant stress about money.
Right. And then comes financial stability, where you're paying your bills on time. Maybe you have a small emergency fund, but you're not really building wealth yet.
So it's a step in the right direction, but you've still got a ways to go.
Phase 3 is financial growth. This is where your investments are starting to work for you. You're building that passive income. Your net worth is going up.
Okay, now we're talking. This is where it gets exciting.
Then we have financial independence, which is the ultimate goal for a lot of people. Your passive income covers all your expenses, so you don't have to rely on a job anymore, and you have the freedom to choose whether you want to work or not. And then finally, we have financial legacy. This is where you're not just financially secure, but you're also using your wealth to have a positive impact, whether that's supporting your family, giving back to your community, or investing in causes that are important to you.
It's about leaving that lasting impact beyond your own financial well-being. I like that. Are there any pitfalls we need to watch out for along this journey?
Oh, absolutely. He highlights a few traps that can derail people, even if they've made progress. One of the biggest is short-term thinking, that craving for instant results and that struggle to commit to the long-term, slow and steady approach to building wealth.
Yeah, those get-rich-quick schemes are tempting, but rarely pan out.
And then there's lifestyle inflation, right? So you increase your spending as your income grows instead of investing the difference.
Oh, it's so easy to fall into that trap because it feels good to upgrade your lifestyle, but it can sabotage those long-term goals. So how do we avoid these traps? How do we escape the rat race?
He introduces the concept of the Freedom Fund. This is a personal investment portfolio designed to replace your active income with passive income.
Okay, so you're creating your own pension plan, but with more control and flexibility, right?
Exactly. He says to start by figuring out how much passive income you need to cover your ideal lifestyle. Then consider your investment strategy and your expected rate of return to determine how much you actually need to invest to reach that income. And finally, invest aggressively in income-producing assets. So stocks, real estate, or businesses that will generate that steady flow of passive income.
You put that money to work so you can eventually stop trading your time for money. Really powerful stuff.
He also talks about the money machine approach, which is, again, about automating your wealth building process. He compares it to creating a system that prints money for you.
Oh, I like the sound of that. How do we turn our money into a printing press?
It's a four-step process. Earn money, invest that money, reinvest to profits, and achieve financial freedom. So you take your income, you put it to work in assets that are going to generate more income, and then use that extra income to buy even more assets, and that creates this cycle of wealth creation.
Love it. Now, Chapter 10, The Power of Your Financial Why, really seems to shift gears here. It's all about mindset.
Right. It really digs into that often overlooked but incredibly important part that mindset plays in achieving financial success. Abraham actually says, if money is your only motivation, well, you're probably going to lose interest, make poor financial choices, and you'll never achieve true wealth.
So it's not just about strategies or numbers. It's about having that deeper drive, that internal motivation.
Exactly. You need a strong why behind your financial goals, something that resonates with you emotionally and keeps you going even when things get tough.
Yeah, I could see that. I mean, if your only goal is just to have more money in your bank account, well, you might get discouraged, or maybe you'll be tempted to just spend it all.
He outlines 3 levels of financial motivation: survival motivation, lifestyle motivation, and purpose-driven motivation.
Okay, let's break those down. Survival motivation sounds like the most basic level.
It is. It's when you're just trying to make enough to get by, pay the bills and survive. It's reactive, and there's no real focus on the future.
Definitely not a recipe for success. What about lifestyle motivation?
This is about upgrading your life, right? Getting the nicer car, the bigger house, the fancy vacations. And while it can be motivating, it often leads to that lifestyle inflation where your spending rises as fast as your income, and you never really reach true financial freedom.
So you end up chasing those external markers of success rather than building that inner sense of security and fulfillment.
Exactly. And then there's purpose-driven motivation. This is the highest level. You're driven by something bigger than just yourself, something that really matters to you. It could be a secure future for your family, or building wealth that will last for generations, giving back to your community, or investing in causes that you're passionate about.
Now, this is powerful. How do we figure out our own why, our own motivation for building wealth?
He suggests asking yourself, why do I want financial freedom? But instead of just stopping at the first answer, ask why 5 times.
Oh, okay, like digging down to that core motivation.
He also really stresses connecting your money to your values. So ask yourself, does my spending really align with my values? Am I working toward a life that I truly love, or am I just chasing a paycheck?
So it's about being mindful, Right, and making sure your money is reflecting your true self.
And then finally, he encourages us to build a legacy vision for our wealth. So think about the impact your financial success will have on others and the legacy you want to leave behind.
So moving beyond that, that self-centered view of wealth and embracing this idea that your success can have a ripple effect and benefit others and really make a difference. I love that.
He also provides a three-step exercise that can help you define your why.
Okay, let's walk our listener through that. What's step one?
First, really explore the question, why do I want financial freedom? And keep asking yourself why until you get to that real emotional driver.
Okay, so an emotional excavation.
Exactly. Step two is to connect your money to your values. So look at your spending habits and see if they really reflect your core values, if you're spending money on things that truly matter to you.
It's about aligning those actions with those beliefs.
Right. And step three is to build that legacy vision. So think about what you want your wealth to accomplish beyond, just your personal comfort. How will you use it to have to make a positive impact?
So moving beyond a selfish view of wealth to really use it for good. I love that. Okay, so we've got our why all figured out. Now it's time to actually build that money machine.
And that's exactly what we'll dive into in the next part of our deep dive. So chapter 11, creating your money machine plan. And here's where we get into the nitty-gritty, the actual steps.
Right, moving from wishful thinking to like that strategic roadmap. So what are the key steps to create this plan?
He outlines 5 core components. Define your freedom number, create a cash flow plan, then automate your wealth building process, manage risk and protect that wealth, and finally, scale and optimize your money machine.
Okay, a lot to cover there. Let's start with defining that freedom number. We talked about it earlier, but just a reminder, what is it? And why is it so crucial?
Your freedom number, it's the exact amount of monthly passive income that you need to cover your ideal lifestyle, right? It's that magic number that unlocks financial independence and lets you live life on your own terms.
And it's not just about covering bills, it's funding everything, travel, hobbies, even giving back. It's about being able to pursue your passions without worrying about money.
Exactly. Once you've calculated that freedom number, then you can move on to building your cash flow plan. This is where you figure out those income streams that are going to generate that passive income and help you reach your financial goal.
So we're putting those numbers into action, figuring out where that passive income is going to come from. What are some of the common sources that Abraham mentions?
He talks about dividend stocks, rental properties, online businesses, royalties from, maybe books or courses you create, and other forms of passive income that just provide that steady flow of cash.
Right, and it's about diversifying those income streams, right? Not relying on just one source, but building a portfolio of assets that support you.
Exactly. Now, once you have that freedom number and the plan for passive income, the next step is automation. Abraham really emphasizes this, setting up systems that automatically invest your money, pay your bills, and even reinvest those profits.
Right, so eliminate that temptation to spend. Make sure the money's working for you, even when you're not, actively thinking about it. What are some examples of automation that we can implement?
You can set up those automatic contributions to your investment accounts, automate your bill payments to avoid those pesky late fees, even use technology to like automatically reinvest dividends or rental income right back into your portfolio.
Yeah, it's like embedding those good habits right into your financial system. Those smart choices become the default. Okay, what about managing risk, protecting your wealth?
That's step 4. So, Abraham reminds us that building wealth is just half the battle. We also need to protect what we've earned, from those potential losses. It's like building this fortress around your finances, making sure your hard-earned assets are safe and sound.
Yeah, makes sense. What are some of the risks that we need to be prepared for?
Think about market crashes, unexpected emergencies, maybe you lose your job, even lawsuits or, legal issues can really drain you financially. It's better to be prepared.
Absolutely. So what are his recommendations for mitigating these risks?
He really stresses having that emergency fund for those unexpected things, diversifying your investments, across different asset classes. That way you reduce your exposure if one market goes down. And then make sure you have the right insurance, health, life, and liability. It's a safety net.
Right. Spreading the risk, creating those layers of protection. Okay, the final component. Scaling and optimizing the money machine.
Here's where you take that system and really supercharge it, setting yourself up for even more financial abundance.
Okay, taking it to the next level. What are some strategies for scaling?
Increase your investment contributions as your income grows. That's a good one to start with. You can also expand your income streams, by adding new investments or passive income sources. And then, of course, automate even more aspects of your financial life. That frees up your time for the things you actually enjoy.
Making that money machine work, smarter, not harder. Now, he mentions this wealth dashboard. Can you tell me more about that?
Oh, yeah, it's a tool to track your progress, make sure you're on track. He suggests monitoring things like passive income growth, investment growth, increases in net worth, and just the overall health of your cash flow.
So it's like a financial control panel where you can see everything at a glance and make adjustments as you need to. Love that. Okay, moving on to chapter 12, where Abraham goes into the three laws of wealth creation. He argues that, wealth isn't built by chance. It's about understanding and applying these fundamental laws.
These are the principles that really set the wealthy apart.
Okay, I'm ready to hear these laws. What's the first one?
The law of cash flow. Money has to work for you, not the other way around.
So it's about flipping that dynamic. Instead of constantly trading your time for money, you create this system where your money generates income for you.
Exactly. One of the biggest things that destroys wealth is spending everything you earn and not investing a portion of it into assets that will actually generate more income.
It's about breaking free from that paycheck to paycheck cycle, creating a system where your money is working just as hard as you are. Okay, what's the second law?
The law of leverage. You use money, time, and your skills to multiply your wealth faster.
So it's about being strategic with those resources to really amplify your wealth building efforts. Can you give some examples of leverage?
Using debt wisely, so maybe using it to acquire appreciating assets like real estate or a business. That's money leverage. Time leverage is creating those income streams that don't require your direct effort. So passive businesses or investments that generate income while you're, off doing other things. And then skill leverage is about monetizing your expertise, maybe through writing, consulting, or even creating courses.
Right, so it's about being resourceful, finding those creative ways to really maximize your wealth building potential. Now, the third and final law.
The law of acceleration. The rich get richer because they reinvest their money faster. This is the power of compounding.
Compounding, that secret ingredient that makes money grow exponentially. How do we make that work for us?
It's simple but takes discipline. Reinvest your profits. Don't cash out and spend them. Put them back to work in more income-producing assets. The more you reinvest, the faster your wealth grows.
It's like planting that seed and nurturing it until it grows into a mighty oak tree. Patience is key, but those rewards are worth it.
He says that most people's biggest wealth mistake is spending their investment returns instead of letting them compound. It's like killing the goose that lays the golden eggs.
Yeah, you got to let that money work for you. Okay, so how do we apply these three laws in a practical way?
He gives this three-step blueprint. Increase your cash flow by spending less than you earn and investing the difference. Use leverage to scale your wealth, so invest in appreciating assets and find creative ways to use those time and skills you have. And then accelerate your wealth by reinvesting your profits.
A solid framework for building that money machine. Chapter 13, The Affluence Roadmap, Building Wealth for Life, seems to provide even more detailed guidance. What does it cover?
This one's about building wealth that lasts, not just a temporary windfall. Abraham stresses that we need to view building wealth as a lifelong process, not just a short-term goal.
Right, so it's a lifestyle shift, it's long-term.
He lays out 5 stages. The first is financial awareness. This is where you understand your current financial situation. Remember those metrics we talked about.
Right, knowing your numbers, calculating those metrics, really seeing where you stand. What's the next stage?
Stage 2 is financial stability. So this is where you build that solid foundation. You're building your emergency fund, reducing your debt, and developing those good spending habits.
Creating that sense of security and control. What comes next?
Stage 3 is financial growth. So you're actively investing, you're building those multiple income streams, and you start to see your wealth really grow.
This is where it gets fun. You can see that money machine working.
Then, of course, financial independence, that's the the goal. Your passive income covers all your expenses. You're not relying on a job anymore. You're free to choose how you spend your time.
Ah, the dream. And the final stage.
The final stage is financial legacy. So it's not just about being financially secure, but using that wealth to really make a lasting impact. Building wealth for generations of your family, giving back to the community, supporting those causes you care about. It's going beyond just yourself and using wealth as a a force for good.
Beautiful. But with such a long journey ahead, um, how do we stay on track? Avoid those common pitfalls.
Abraham recommends reviewing your progress every 90 days. You ask yourself key questions. How's my progress? My habits? My investments? Am I moving towards that freedom number? It's like a checkup.
Okay, so those regular check-ins to make sure you're still on course. What are some of those wealth traps he warns against?
He highlights a few, like lifestyle inflation, the short-term thinking, relying on just one income stream, and not protecting your wealth from those potential risks. It's all about being mindful, making sure those choices are aligning with your long-term goals.
Great advice. Now, chapter 14 is about making that money machine work for you long term, right? Key takeaways.
It focuses on making sure your system keeps running, not just today, but years down the line. Automating those wealth building processes, that's key. So things are working even when you're not actively managing them. He also talks about optimizing and adjusting your money machine as you go to make sure your strategy is still good for you.
So not set it and forget it, but actively managing and fine-tuning. What are some common mistakes that people make? Those things that could sabotage their money machine.
Oh, a few big ones he mentions are not reinvesting those profits, so you just spend those gains instead, chasing those high-risk investments, hoping to get rich quick, not changing your plan as your needs and goals change, and letting that lifestyle creep in and eat away at your progress.
All important to be aware. Does he give advice on avoiding those mistakes, keeping our money machine running smoothly?
He does. He gives this 5-step wealth optimization blueprint that might be helpful for our listeners.
Okay, perfect. Let's walk through it. What's that first step?
Review your financial progress every 90 days. Remember those checkups. You track those key metrics, make sure you're on track, make adjustments.
So regular checkups. Got it. What's step 2?
Optimize and diversify your income streams. So ask yourself, if one source of passive income disappeared tomorrow, would I be okay? If the answer is no, you need to diversify. Add those new investments, build more income streams, to create more security.
Right. Spread the risk, make a more robust system.
Step 3 is automating and scaling those investments. As your income grows, increase your contributions, take advantage of compounding, reinvest those profits.
Make those smart choices. Automatic. Let that money grow. Okay, what's step 4?
Protection, make sure you have cash reserves, a liquidity for those surprise expenses. Balance your portfolio, have those growth investments, but also the income producing assets. That creates a stable system. And have that wealth protection strategy. Insurance, legal structures, estate planning.
So create those layers of protection so you're ready for anything. What about the final step?
The final step is to really focus on legacy and wealth transfer. It's not just about your lifetime. It's about making sure your wealth benefits your family, community, or, the things you care about.
It's about using wealth responsibly to create a lasting impact. What are some specific actions we can take to, solidify that legacy?
Things like setting up trusts, estate planning, and just educating family members about financial literacy, those wealth building principles. That goes a long way.
Great advice. It's making sure that wealth is used wisely and makes a difference, even after you're gone. Now, that final chapter, chapter 15, the ultimate money machine mindset, brings us back to mindset. What does Abraham say about that?
He really drives home this idea that, it's not just about strategies. It's about mindset, that mental framework that shapes our financial choices.
So, what are some of those limiting beliefs that hold people back? Those things we tell ourselves.
He talks about things like, I'm not good with money, or money is the root of all evil, or I'll just start when I make more money, right? These beliefs, they can really sabotage our progress.
It's about recognizing those negative thoughts and replacing them with something more empowering. So what kind of mindsets do financially successful people adopt? What are they thinking?
He talks about things like thinking long term, viewing money as a tool, making logical decisions, not emotional ones, investing before spending, focusing on building asset rather than just accumulating liabilities, and taking calculated risks, and then surrounding yourself with other people who are wealth-minded.
So it's a whole perspective shift, right? You see money as a resource to be managed and used to create the life you want. So how do we make that shift?
Abraham suggests challenging those beliefs with facts, reprogramming your mind through those daily wealth habits, And most importantly, taking action.
It's those small, consistent actions that add up over time.
Right. He even suggests a 30-day wealth mindset challenge.
Oh, interesting. Tell me more about that.
It's about committing to one small change each day for 30 days. Something that helps you build a more abundant mindset, about money. So maybe you read a financial article every morning, or diligently track your spending, or set a savings goal.
Those small steps that lead to big changes. Okay, so moving on to chapter 16, financial freedom for life. This is about making that freedom last, right? Not just achieving it, but making it sustainable.
He reminds us that it's not just about, hitting a number. It's about building a life that aligns with what you value and making sure your wealth keeps supporting those values for years to come.
So a journey, not a destination.
Exactly. He outlines these three pillars of lifelong financial freedom: wealth preservation, wealth expansion, and wealth purpose. Like a three-legged stool, need all three for stability.
Oh, I like that. So wealth preservation, that's about protecting what you've already built.
Imagine spending years building your money machine, right? Well, wealth preservation, it's about making sure a storm doesn't come along and knock it all down.
Right, you got to protect it. So what are some of the strategies for fortifying our finances?
He covers all the basics. Diversification, so you're not too reliant on any one thing. Smart tax planning to keep more of your money. That emergency fund, to cushion those unexpected costs. And making sure you have those right insurance policies, health, life, disability, all that.
It's a multi-layered approach. So you protect those assets, make sure they're working for you. Okay, what about wealth expansion? How do we keep growing even after we reach financial independence?
So you've hit that financial independence, but you don't just want to, coast along. Wealth expansion, it's about growing your freedom fund, expanding your opportunities, increasing your impact.
Oh, I love that ambition. So how do we keep growing?
Those same principles apply. Keep reinvesting those profits. Don't be afraid of new investment opportunities, the ones that are aligned with your goals. And keep adding those income streams: rental properties, dividends, online businesses, anything that creates that passive income. Consistent growth is key.
So even when you're comfortable, you can still grow and expand, creating more possibilities.
Now, wealth purpose. This is what really makes Abraham's approach stand out, in my opinion. It's not just about building wealth for yourself. It's about using it to do good.
This is where it gets really meaningful. So how do we make sure our wealth is aligned with our purpose and values?
So many ways. Philanthropy, supporting charities, those causes you care about, maybe mentoring others, sharing your knowledge to help them reach their financial goals, or starting a business that creates jobs and opportunities, or even investing in sustainable ventures, those companies that are making a positive impact on the world.
So going beyond just those traditional definitions of wealth, thinking about the legacy, using those resources to make the world better.
Exactly. And to help you stay on track, he has this wealth maintenance plan. It's just a few steps to keep your money machine running for years to come.
Keep it simple, keep it effective. Tell me more about this plan.
So first, he suggests doing an annual wealth review. Look at your net worth, your cash flow, investments, everything. Ask yourself, am I on track to meet those goals? Do I need to adjust anything? Any new opportunities I should explore?
So being proactive, making sure your plan is still working for you.
He also says keep learning. The world of finance, it's always changing. You got to stay up to date on the trends, the strategies, the new technologies.
Be a lifelong learner, always expanding that knowledge. What else is in this plan?
Live below your means. Even as your income grows, it's tempting to spend more when you can, but you got to resist that urge. Stay focused on those long-term goals.
Right. Don't let those spending habits take over. What's that final piece of the plan?
Remember to live with purpose. Financial success, it's not an end of itself. Use your wealth to create that life of meaning and joy and make a contribution.
Powerful. It's not just the money, it's the life you build.
Absolutely. So as we wrap up this deep dive, a few key takeaways for you to ponder. Financial freedom, it's a journey, not a destination. It's an ongoing process. You're learning, you're growing, you're changing.
Enjoy the ride.
Second, you're the one in control. Your financial destiny is not set. You have the power to make choices, build those habits, and create a system that supports you.
It's about taking ownership of your financial future. Anything else we should remember?
Financial success, it's not just about the numbers, right? It's about aligning your money with your values, your purpose, and that vision for your future.
So using wealth as a force for good.
And lastly, remember, you're not alone. There are resources out there, mentors, communities, an entire support system to help you navigate this.
So reach out, ask those questions, connect with others.
It's been great diving into Mel Abraham's Building Your Money Machine with you.
Oh, it has. We've pulled out some truly valuable insights today, and I hope you're feeling empowered, inspired, ready to build your own money machine.
Remember, that journey starts today. Take that first step, even if it's small. Every action you take, every habit you build, every dollar you invest, it moves you closer to financial freedom.
That's a great way to put it. Well, that's our deep dive into building your money machine. We hope you got some great ideas and are ready to start building your own path to financial freedom. Until next time, keep diving deep.
See you next time.